open.
Get ready to transform your cottage with these brilliant red, white, and blue cottage decorating ideas. Summer's just around the corner, and this is the perfect time to unlock the cottage and indulge in the joy of decorating. So get your glue gun, your supplies ready, and let's get started. For my first DIY, I took some of this volume paste that I made myself, kind of like glue, but a little bit puffier. And using one of these house shapes from Dollar Tree, I used a paintbrush and I made sure to spread the volume paste everywhere. It's kind of like Mod Podge. I was just out of that at the moment, so I thought I'd make my own. Then I took this napkin that I had separated. So you want to make sure that you take off the white backing part, so you're just left with the top cover of the napkin. And I added it on. And I did have to do it slowly. It took me a couple of tries to do this as well, just to get it on how I liked it, because the volume paste kind of dried up a little bit before I had a chance to put the napkin on. And you do want to cut off the excess of the napkin because you're not going to need to put it on the back of the project. And then push down with your hands just to make sure that it's adhering well. Well, I decided to get myself some more Mod Podge, so here I am adding it to the sides. I thought that the napkin was a little poofy, and so I wanted it to be more secure to the house shape. So I made sure to add a lot on. Next, I got these other napkins from Dollarama, and it had a cute saying on it that I thought would be really nice for this project. So as you can see, I'm separating the napkin from the backing, and I added even more Mod Podge to the house shape, and now I'm just trying to center it because there are some words written on there, and the words were a bit longer than the house shape was, and I just wanted to make sure that I got everything inside the little house. So I was very careful to do this. And then I just pressed down so that it would adhere. And here's how it's looking. And I'm really liking it, so I decided to add even more Mod Podge on top, just so I could seal everything in. And I did have to add a lot of Mod Podge. Next, I found this lace ribbon that I thought was really pretty, and I thought it would make a nice cottage decor if I added that on, kind of like cottage core. And I just added that with hot glue, and then I had this little embellishment that I had gotten from Panda Hall Selected. And it's just two fish, like you had gone fishing and you caught a couple of fish and you had them hanging on a string. And I just added those on with hot glue just on the side. And you did have to make sure it was well adhered before I lifted it up. But here's how it looks, and I think it looks awesome. Such a pretty display for inside the cottage or the trailer. For my next DIY, I had these square wood shapes from Dollarama. I think they were $2 and you got 3. And I took my hot glue gun and I decided that I was going to paint a picture on the top of the wood slice. Now the picture that I chose was of a tent with some trees and the sun shining in the sky. Now the first one was supposed to be cut out like a moon, but I wasn't really feeling it, so I decided to get rid of the moon shape and just make the little camping scene. I did this same scene on all 3 wood slices. I'm participating in the 5 under $5 DIY challenge hosted by Missy over at Crafty Cove DIY, Emily from Farm Charm Chic, and this month's guest co-host is Marla from The Chic Show. Make sure to check out their links in the description box below, and also the playlist of all of the wonderful crafters who made things that are red, white, and blue. So I decided that I was going to do kind of like an ombre effect on the top of these wood slices. So the first color I did was red. But you could also do yellow, like if this wasn't the red, white, and blue collab, you could do whatever color you wanted. And I thought maybe yellow might be nice where the sun is. But I'm really liking how these are turning out. There's nothing worse than setting your drink down on a table, and when you go to pick it up, because it's so warm in the summer, there's condensation left on the table from your drink. And you can use these cool red, white, and blue coasters to protect your table from any ring that your glass would leave behind. And they're beautiful. These coasters are fashionable and functional at the same time because you can use them as a coaster or a little portrait of your camping adventure. Protect your table in style. For my next DIY, I took this napkin from Temu. And I decided that I was going to decoupage it to a glass bottle. So I made a mixture of Mod Podge and water, and I covered the glass jar first. And then I cut out the different sections of the napkin that I wanted to apply to the jar, and then I added even more Mod Podge and put that on. Now tell me what you think. Have you purchased napkins from Temu? What do you think about them? Maybe I'm doing something wrong, but I'm finding that they are very thin and they tend to rip a lot. So I was having that problem. Once I had all of the flowers on, I decided to add some paint to the Mod Podge and water mixture. And then I took some napkin, the white backing part that you peel off, and I dipped it into the paint and Mod Podge mixture. Now I saw this technique done on the DIY Struggle channel. Brandy recently put out a video on glass jar hacks, and I thought I would give this one a try. Now I totally understand why she's called the DIY Struggle, because I had a hard time with this, but maybe I was doing something wrong. But it's fairly simple. You just dip the napkin into the paint and Mod Podge mixture and then push it into place onto the jar where you want it. And here's how it looks so far. I decided to add some with blue. And here's the napkin after I had put it into the paint and Mod Podge mixture. And I'm just adding it on. I wasn't really liking how it was turning out, and it was covering up some of the Temu napkin, and the Temu napkin kept ripping. But I didn't give up. And I did manage to get blue paint all over my fingers. But I kept going. I tried not to put any on the bottom of the jar, but I just kept going on the top and the sides. And I ended up covering up most of the Temu napkin. But I was managing to get everything to stay on, so I didn't want to quit. I wanted to keep going. Here's how it looks so far with the blue and the red painted napkin. So I decided that I was going to add the Temu flowery napkin back on, and this time I didn't add water to the Mod Podge, thinking maybe that would help not tear the napkin. So I just applied a thin layer of Mod Podge to the back of the napkin, and then I placed it on top of the piece. And I didn't mind that I was covering up the blue and the red because I wanted the flowers of the Temu napkin to show through, because that was going to be the white in the red, white, and blue. And I decided I would add another flower piece. And I forgot to put Mod Podge on this one. Whoops. But it's okay because there was so much moisture from the painted napkin and the Mod Podge that was already on it, so it just stuck easily. So I was lucky. But I was really liking how it was looking. And I had to make sure to pat everywhere to make sure everything was on. I had some red napkin that I got at Dollarama, and I decided to add that on just to give it a little bit more red look because I had covered up most of the red with the blue. I'm obsessed with napkins right now. How about you? Let me know in the comment section below. What kind of napkins are your favorite? Do you have any suggestions of napkins I could get? I checked at Dollar Tree and Dollarama and I bought what I could. Next, I'm adding Mod Podge to the outside of the whole thing, and I made sure to put a lot of Mod Podge on. And I'm just dabbing it on because I found that if I pulled down on the napkin, some of it would come off. So I decided to just dab everywhere. I just wanted to make sure that the whole thing was covered in Mod Podge. And look, I had made a hole there, so I needed something to cover it up. And I didn't really like the color of the painted napkin, so that's why I'm using the red napkin. It's more of a burgundy color. Next, I decided to add some white in different spots just for the red, white, and blue effect. So I just poured some paint right on, and then using this brush, I just dabbed it out around in different spots, and I added some more in the back as well. just so it would be more red, white, and blue. I really like the colors red, white, and blue. They make a nice combination. Once I was done with the paint, I added even more Mod Podge on top. Just so everything would blend in well together. And here's how it's looking so far. I decided to let it dry overnight. Yes, stop the presses. I actually let something dry. And I found this beautiful charm bracelet in my drawer, and I thought it would look so wonderful around the neck of the glass jar. And it just gave it a nice contrast with the beauty of the napkins on the jar. And I thought it gave it a nice high-end looking design. And I'm just moving over some of the gems because the bracelet was a little small. And I decided to put a candle inside, but I couldn't really see it too good because the candle was small. So if you do want to try this project, I suggest a taller candle inside. I decided to use 2 candles to try to get the light a little higher. And it worked. And here's how it turned out. I'm really loving it, and it also has potential for other decoupage on glass projects. Won't it look nice in your cottage or in your trailer? For my next DIY, I took this dish drying mat from Dollar Tree and some skewers that I got at Dollarama. And what I want to do is make like a little oven mitt for the skewer. If you've ever gone camping or to a cottage, usually there's a campfire. And people like to cook different things on the fire, like hot dogs or marshmallows. Sometimes the skewer gets hot. And I thought it would be a great idea if you could make some kind of holder for the skewer. So that's what I'm doing. I cut out a piece of the dish drying mat, mainly the piece that had the most red, white, and blue on it. And I really love this pattern with the little butterflies. I have a thing for butterflies, I think. Every time I see one, I need to buy it. Are you like that with anything? Let me know in the comment section below. So I'm just using hot glue here, but you could actually sew it if you wanted to. But I figured the hot glue wouldn't melt because this part of the skewer won't be near the fire. So I'm just winding around the dish drying mat, and then I cut it when I figured it was thick enough. Because you want it thick enough that it's not going to burn you. And then I just added hot glue on the end and rolled it up. And you just want to keep your fingers on the mat to hold it tightly until the hot glue dries. Otherwise it'll unravel and you'll have to start over again. I decided to make another one because Usually when you go camping, you're not alone. So I made another one of the same dish drying mat, but if you wanted to, you could use a different mat, and then you'll know whose is whose. Because sometimes you like to eat your marshmallow right off the skewer. And you want to know which one was yours. Because, you know, when you go camping, sometimes you go swimming or you do other things outside, and then you put down your skewer and maybe you don't grab the right one. But if you used a different drying mat, then you'd know whose is whose. And here's how they turned out. I think they're perfect for the campfire, so you're not going to burn yourself while you're cooking your hot dogs or you're roasting your marshmallows. What's summer without some mosquitoes? And what a way to protect yourself than using one of those mosquito coils. If you've ever bought them at Dollar Tree, you'll see that they come with this little silver thing that holds the mosquito coil up from the ground. But I decided that I wanted something a little cuter and more in tune with the camping theme. So I downloaded this picture off the web, and I put a piece of carbon paper in between the paper and a piece of MDF board. Then with this stylus, I just copied the picture onto the MDF board. And you want to make sure to get all of the lines on. In this case, I missed a couple. That I only noticed after I took off the carbon paper. So I just took a marker and I drew in the rest of the lines. Then, using my scroll saw, I made sure to cut out the picture. And I even cut out some of the inside lines as well. I love using my scroll saw. It's so handy. Anytime I need a shape or some kind of picture, I can just trace it onto a piece of wood or board and then boom, cut it out. Here's what it looks like so far. I wanted to make sure that my little campfire had long flames, and I decided that I was going to paint the whole thing. So first I used burnt umber for the wood at the bottom, all the logs, and I gave that a coat. Then for the flames of the fire, I decided to go with a yellow base coat. And I put in orange flames and red. And it was really looking like a campfire. I decided to make a little base for it so it would stand up. And I used tumbling tower blocks and some hot glue. So I ended up using 6 tumbling tower blocks, and then I put a 7th one in the middle just to give it a little bit of weight in the back so that it didn't tip over. Now you could use wood glue for this or craft glue, but I decided to go with hot glue because it was readily available. I decided to try and add the Mosquito coil on top, and I did have a bit of difficulty doing this because the little holes at the top of the Mosquito coil are very small, and the tip of my campfire was a bit larger, and I didn't really have anything to make the hole a bit bigger. But I managed to get it to stay, so I was happy about that. So I decided to add a little bit of white to the logs area so it would define the logs a bit more. And plus I realized I didn't have any white on this project, and it's supposed to be red, white, and blue. So I just added in the white, and then I decided to add some blue for the blue flame of the fire. And also sometimes when you go camping or to a cottage and there is a fire, sometimes people throw in this colorful stuff. I'm not sure what it's called, but you put it in the fire and then it makes all these beautiful colors. And here's how it turned out. I think it looks awesome, and you can protect yourself from mosquitoes in a stylish way. For my next DIY, I took this Dollar Tree waste paper basket and a piece of the calendar that I have been painting on and doing all my crafts on. I thought I might incorporate this into this project. So I just cut off the red and white stripes. And I really like them because they have a rustic vibe and they had a little bit of brown in it. So it kind of looked like faux wood a little bit with red painting on it. So I was going to put the calendar piece at the top here, but then I found this sign on the web and I thought it was so cute. Because who doesn't need a garbage when you go camping or go to the cottage or go to a trailer? There's always a ton of garbage. And having this cute little trash can could make your trip a lot cleaner. And I just thought that the sign was so adorable. If you haven't guessed, it says trailer trash. And it's a cute little place where you can put all of your trash when you're on your camping trip. So I decided to cut this red and white striped motif in half. And I decided I was going to put half on top and half on the bottom. And I just used some Mod Podge, a liberal amount, on the back of the sign that I printed off on my printer. And I attached that to the front of the waste paper basket. And then I did the same thing with the calendar paper. Once that was done, I needed to add some blue, so I just decided to add some in the window of the little camper trailer and also in the highlighted part of all of the letters and the word trash. And here's how it turned out. I absolutely love it. I think it's adorable and a cute play on words. Perfect for the cottage, the trailer, or camping. These brilliant red, white, and blue cottage decor decorations are sure to provide a wonderful display in your cottage, your trailer, or at the campground. Not only will you be adding a personal touch to your decor, but you'll also make your cottage a cozy retreat for summer or any season. Infuse your space with a sense of creativity and vibrant colors regardless of your nationality, and decorate your campground, your cottage, or your trailer with red, white, or blue. For more fun camping DIY inspirations, click on the next video.